Hey friends, so I want to make a pretty short video today. I'm holding my camera with my other hand and just to see what it's like. It feels a bit different because of the way my eyes, I'm not looking straight there. I tend to look at the screen, which is where my face is, and it's just interesting. Should I look at the green light? I should probably look at the green light. Then I look away, look back. Anyway, I want to keep this short. I want to talk about. I forgot what I want to talk about. What did I want to talk about? Jesus. The world, the size of the world, right? So I saw a tweet that somebody said something like, I was telling my friends about this part of Twitter that we are on and how I enjoy it. And then his friends were like, oh, what's that? I've never heard of that. And then he shared, oh, people who read Slate Star Codex, people who read certain blogs, people who read certain, are involved in certain communities online. And they're like, none of those words mean anything to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. And then people kind of mumble and be like, oh, we care about statistics and modeling and blah blah blah. And then it's just, you see that there's no connection there, and then you just kind of, anyway, what do you do? Right? That sort of thing. And I actually think that this is something that is interesting and cool and exciting about the world, that it's so big, that there's so many, like, whatever it is that's going on in your life, there's someone else who has absolutely no idea about you. There are people in the world who don't know. So okay, if you're American, I guess everyone knows about America. But if you live in any other country, there's a good chance that there's some other country somewhere where that somebody in that country doesn't know of your country, right? Like, so I live in Singapore. There are surely people in Paraguay, right? Like who might not live in the major cities or whatever, and who don't know that Singapore exists. And so someone like me does not appear in their mental model of the world. And that's just interesting and exciting to me, in a sense that there's still places you can go and be new, right? And yeah, okay, where am I going with this? I think that's part of why I enjoy YouTube, which is that I was spending so much time on Twitter that, whether you realize it or not, you develop this model of what that space is about based on the people around you. And in reality, there's so much more people in the world than the ones that you're using to kind of simulate a shared reality. And so I'm excited about YouTube because it gives me a chance to meet new people who I haven't, like, to talk to people with a different voice than I use on Twitter. And while I have been honored, again, like, talking about this is so complicated, because if I say I have been honored on Twitter to have some amount of following, some people find that, oh, are you bragging? Are you showing off? No, it's cool to, in my small circle, right? So I've been honored by this tiny circle of people with some amount of status, some amount of prestige. It's nice to have, and it's also small. It's like being the treasurer of a student council, right? It's cool in that scene, but outside of it, no one cares, and that's also liberating, right? And I want to get out into the world, right? I want to, and for me, once upon a time, that was Twitter. For me, once upon a time, Twitter was a place where I didn't know anyone, and I was curious to meet new people and build relationships, and I did that, and I kind of formed the scene around myself, sort of. Maybe I was just in the right place at the right time, I don't know. But now I would like to try that again by going on YouTube and going on TikTok and finding new people who don't know my old friends, who don't know me, and that I can be open and fresh and new with, and talk about different things, and conduct myself differently, and explore different facets of my personality. And I'm just excited about that, right? So I think I stopped writing in my 1,000-word writing project because Twitter had started to feel more exciting for me, and now I'm kind of curious to go back to that and revisit and re-experience solitude, like, of the mind, where I'm not thinking about what other people are gonna think in response to what I say. And yeah, I look forward to that. I think there's something there that I need to do. And yeah, so that's my thing for today, right? Think about how big the world is. Think about the world outside of your sphere, right? Your family and friends, the city you live in. Even within the city you live in, there are surely spaces that you have not been to, you've not seen, you've not spoken to people from, who will surprise you with their fresh perspective. I remember once, I was just feeling so exhausted from work, where working on marketing all day, talking to marketing people all day, looking at the stats and numbers and whatnot. And one of my co-founder from my t-shirt company invited me to go to a film festival, and it was just so refreshing for me to be in that theater at the time, to witness these filmmakers who I had no idea of, didn't know who they are, didn't know what they do. And I got to see their passion, and they were having a conversation about, like there was like an award ceremony of some kind, and they were talking about the filmmaking scene in Singapore, which I had no idea about. And it's just so interesting to inhabit a different universe of sorts, and you see what's in common, you see what's different, and it's just also fresh and also new, and life somehow big, like in just being in that space, you feel like a child, like a tourist, right? And maybe I'll make a separate video about how every child is a tourist in our world, because they're new arrivals, they're migrants, they're alien migrants to human society. And so we treat children and travelers like good travelers the same way. We want to help them have a good time. We want to make a good impression on them because they are making their first impressions. And it's possible to be a tourist and a traveler in many ways, especially now. So now, like COVID makes it very difficult for me to get on a plane and go overseas, and then come back. I have to get on a quarantine. It's the whole mess. But what are the ways in which we can be travelers in our own lives, right? I ate eggs this morning, which I don't normally do. I tend to wake up, drink coffee, and shower and start writing or sitting on my computer and tweeting. And eating eggs this morning, like consuming protein first thing in the morning, that was something new for me. And it was a way of experiencing a slightly different reality than what I'm accustomed to, which is like I'm being a tourist in someone else's world, right? There's maybe another version of me, right? So maybe there's an alternate Visa who consumes a lot of protein, and I got to experience his life for a day, and I think I'm gonna stay in that space a bit longer and try it again tomorrow and see how it feels. Want to keep this short? Done.